Hello dear students, welcome back. Today we are going to take up a new chapter, chapter number 8, and the name of the chapter is Winds, Storm and Cyclone. So in this chapter we are going to see some of the natural phenomena that is caused because of the movement of the air particles present around us. So before starting this chapter, let us first see what is air and how these different other phenomena related to air are being caused. We know that the earth is covered with an envelope of air and envelope of gas. These gases are made up of small particles. Because of the difference in the temperature that is created due to the amount of sunlight obtained by a particular area, the air particle develops different properties in them. Some of the properties is that the air particle expand when the temperature increases. Another property is that the air particles become light when the temperature increases. When the air particles become light, they used to move upward. Due to that reason, there is a creation of a low pressure area in that region. When we say low pressure, it means the presence of less amount of air particles. Because of the creation of this low pressure, the air particles from other area where there is a presence of cold temperature or high pressure used to move towards the low pressure area. Because of that, there is a creation of wind. So, this wind, depending upon the speed that they possess, they are given different names. The speed of the wind depends upon the difference in the pressure between two different regions. So, all these things we are going to study in this chapter. Now, let us first see some of the things related to air. The first thing that we are going to see is that air expands. When we say expand, it means the increase in the volume that is occupied by a particular amount of air. The expansion of the air is caused because of the increase in the temperature. When a particular amount of air is heated or when it obtains particular amount of sunlight, at that time, these air particles used to absorb the heat energy from the source of the heat and it used to increase its energy. Because of the increase in energy, they used to move further apart from one another and it used to expand. But when the temperature is removed out or when the temperature is reduced down, the air again used to contract. During the expansion, generally the air particles used to move upward. When it moved upward, it used to create a huge amount of pressure on any object that used to come in between. So not only moving upward, the air also used to move in every direction. So in whatever direction the air moves, the air particles used to develop a pressure on any object that is in its path. So this is another property of the air that we are going to see, about which I had explained a few topics or I had explained some few things in the previous topic. Air exert pressure. So the air, as they are moving continuously in every direction, in whatever direction they move, on whatever substance they strike, they used to exert a pressure. Some of the examples which clearly explain that air exert pressures are flying a kite. When there is a strong wind that is blowing, at the time we are able to fly a kite. If there is no wind, we will not be able to fly a kite. If the wind is blowing from our backside, at the time we will be able to fly the kite very easily. It is because the air strikes on the kite and the air used to take away the kite. If there is no wind that is blowing, we will not be able to fly a kite. Next one, sailing a sailboat. We have seen some boat used to have a sail. When the air used to strike on this sail, at the time, the boat is able to sail very easily. If there is no wind, we are not able to use this sail. So sailing of a sailboat is because the air particles used to hit on it it develops a pressure on it. Because of that, it is taken away by the wind. The last one is the tires of a bicycle. When we inflate air inside the bicycle tire, at the time the tire used to burst up. If we put more air, if we supply more air inside the tire, at the time sometimes the tire may burst. The bursting of the tire and the bursting of the tire is because the air that we fill inside the tire used to develop a pressure on the wall of the tire. If there is no pressure developed by the air particles on the tire will not get inflated. These are some of the examples that can be taken in order to explain properly that air exerts pressure on any object. Now, let us see how wind is caused. Let us take two different areas, area A, area B. Here we have to remember that the air expands when heated. Let us say here, this area A receives more amount of sunlight than the area B. So as the area A receives more amount of sunlight, this area will be having a warm temperature or a hotter temperature as compared to area B. After receiving the heat energy from the sunlight, these air particles used to expand and used to become lighter. When it becomes light, it used to move upward. When the air particles move up, at the time there is to be creation of a low pressure. A low pressure in relation with the air particles, it means that there is presence of less amount of air particles. So, this area B, as it doesn't receive sufficient amount of sunlight or more amount of sunlight, this area will be having more amount of air particles, and because of that, there will be a high pressure. So, the air particles from the high pressure area used to move towards the low pressure area in order to fill up the requirement of the air or in order to fill up the low pressure, so that a balance can be maintained between these two areas. So, when the air particles move from area B towards area A, there is a creation of wind. So, in this way, winds are being created. So now let us see what are the different names that are given to the wind depending upon their speed. So here are the common names of the wind depending upon their speed. There are many other names of the wind depending upon their speed. Out of that, I have taken some of the common ones. Let us see the first one, calm. Calm is the type of wind which is blowing below a speed of 1 km per hour. If the speed of the wind is between 20 to 28 km per hour, then it is known as moderate breeze. If the speed of the wind is between 50 to 61 km per hour, then it is known as moderate gale. When the speed of the wind reaches 89 to 102, then it is known as a storm. If the speed of the wind is above 117, at that time we used to call it as hurricane or tornado. This hurricane and tornado, they are the name of the wind that is given in other countries. In India, this type of wind we call it as cyclone. So, different type of winds, depending upon their speed, they have different names, and their destructive power also are different. When the speed of the wind increases, then the destruction that is caused by certain type of winds are very huge. It can even cause death of life. So up to this, we discussed in today's class the other topic of this chapter, like what is tornado, what is hurricane, how they are caused, we will see in the next class. Thank you.